24/7.
About sex?
No, let's talk about relationships.
Or is it time to talk about dating? Taboos?
It's on your mind.
So let's talk about it
On Nightlife 24/7.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nightlife 24/7. As always, I'm your boy Mac, and today I'm kicking it with my really, really good friend and co-host, Liberty.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eugenia Liberty, and I help sexually unfulfilled people unleash their true desires and celebrate their sensuality so they can have more of juicy and passionate sex and fun fulfilled relationships with or without a partner. What about that?
Uh, I like hearing you say that every time you say it. I don't know why, but I really like hearing that every time you say it. So, me and Liberty today are going to be continuing our topic that I started with sweets on the previous show, which is drugs, drinking, and sex. And in the previous show, we talked about how so many people indulge now more sex. But the funny thing to me was I was surprised when Sweets gave those numbers that 34% across the board have dropped using drugs and drinking as a gateway to sex, that it has dropped across the board, whether it was marijuana, cocaine, whatever. The funny thing is to me that in the dating world, as a single man, and I'm an older single man, I still see it prevalent with the women that I come in contact, and especially with the younger women. Not so much with the older women, but with the younger women, you still, hey, let's Netflix and chill, or, come over and they want to drink. But with the older women, and I've always known that with most older women, when you, how can I say this? When you entertain them, it's always good, even if they don't drink, to have a glass of wine or have some wine there for them to drink and relax with. Now, that being said, has them drinking when I'm entertaining them at my home or at their own home led to sex? I will say right off the bat, at least 90% of the time, yes. Yes, I just put it out there. With the newer generation that I've noticed, for some reason, I seem to attract younger women. Don't know why, but for some reason I do. I don't know if it's a younger women, old man fetish. I don't know. But when I do, they want to come and hang and lay around, cuddle, smoke, and boom, next thing I know, we busy. But it's cool. That's what it is now. That's the new generation. So now, Liberty, as a woman who I know for a fact, because we've had private conversations, you used to love to party.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah. So you had a question, right?
Right. So as a woman who lives in Europe, and the European nightlife is so much different than the U.S. nightlife. I know this because I lived there for almost 5 years. Being a woman and partying, did it get you in situations sometimes when you're like, what the fuck? How did I end up here? Or who the hell is this? Or exactly where the hell am I at?
Oh, yes. That's the answer. Oh, yes. That's the answer. And I can tell you that I started partying quite early in my age. And it took me all over the place, like all over the world, in all kinds of situations, good, not so good, situations where I've learned, situations where I laughed, situations where I cried, situations where I didn't know what's happening, And one of those things was, um, for sure, um, for sure, what I can say about sex, drugs, and alcohol is that lots of younger generation are using that as as a form of like confidence. And I know this because I've been using it myself, like sex, drugs,
Mm-hmm.
as a form of like, kind of stimulant
Got
to
you.
release my inner goddess out, and not to be shy, because maybe when I'm a little maybe when I'm sober, I don't have as much confidence to be who I really am. And it was kind of stimulant to like let let the dogs out.
Okay.
And yeah, and I can tell you that in the past, I have experienced like sexual abuse, and for sure the alcohol was involved there. And also I have experienced situations where I would wake up in the morning, and it's like, and I would be like, I would turn around and I was like, oh my goodness, who is in my bed?
Damn.
So that has happened also. But also I had situations where I wake up in the morning and I am like with the hottest guy ever, that I was like, hey, yeah, good job, Eugenia. Well done.
Wow.
and and I can tell you that, it was my way of life for many years, many years, that drugs, drink, sex, and it's like, if you are in the night, like, I used to be a dancer, and it's like the nightlife for me was consistent of drugs and alcohol. This is the way it was. And sexuality comes in there very, very, like, primarily because you don't have those like kind of filters to express yourself
Right.
on the level that you really want to, because it's like you don't give a shit about if somebody gonna judge you.
Right.
You don't care about these kind of things, like all the things, like why not to do it when you're sober, they just filtering out, and you just do what you want to do regardless, of like what people gonna think of you, what people gonna say. You just like encouraged and excited by the vibe, that you're feeling, and if you see somebody hot, you just don't think twice approaching them.
See, the thing
And that
that a lot of people don't seem to understand here, um, overseas, you can drink at a much, much younger age. I remember being in guest houses, and there were girls in there that were 14 and 15, and they were drinking so easily.
Mhm, mhm,
So,
mhm.
that being said, does it make it so much easier when you live overseas to come into drugs or being able to get drugs for fun and pleasure or sex?
And do you know what? I think it all depends on your upbringing, to be honest. Because um, the, in my opinion, and my personal experience, I turned to drink and drugs because I wanted, like, when I was young, like we're talking from 8 years old, kind of young, my parents became alcoholics, and for me it was very painful to stay at home.
Right.
So I started staying out with the boys from the age of 13. And this is where, because I have got this example at home that my parents are drinking, so I stayed out with my friends because I didn't want to go home and like witness whatever what was happening there. I stayed out with my friends, and I was drinking and like smoking with them, and it's like, and everything started from there. So it's like, it's really depends on your upbringing. Of course, there are like some situations where like um, people are in a very like good from the good families and things like that. But you never know what's happening in the person's mind and soul,
Which is true.
and
which is so true because you
And
see so many good families. The kids are on drugs or they're stealing medication out of, their parents, medicine and taking it to get high. So I get that. You're right.
yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it's
And
different for me though. See, you had that situation where you hung out with your friends, and because my father was an alcoholic, and because two of my brothers up under me are alcoholics, I decided not to drink. I just didn't want. I was turned off. But don't get me wrong. I tried to drink when I joined the military because my friends would always go out, hanging out at the bars and the clubs, and they used to pick at me and call me the grape soda kid because I wouldn't drink. But I tried drinking, and it just never worked for me. I didn't like the way I felt the next morning. I didn't like the hangover. I didn't like it when we had to get up and do PT, go run a couple miles in the morning in formation, and everybody around you, you could smell the alcohol coming out of their skin, and it would make me so sick. So I would always either run in front of everybody, way ahead, up in front of everybody, or I would run way behind because I couldn't take that smell in the group. You could smell it coming out of the skin.
yeah, yeah.
But I will say this. I as I stated before, I like smoking every now and then. I will smoke weed. I do. The thing for me is some nights I can't sleep, so I'll smoke it and it helps me relax. There are times when I can't get my brain to shut off, and I'll smoke it and it helps me relax. The only bad thing about it is, like with Sweets, when she smokes it, because she smokes it regularly, almost daily sometimes, it keeps her in a more stable, relaxed state. But when she smokes, it makes her more focused. She's really, really focused. Whereas my everyday life, I'm really focused on what I'm trying to do and accomplish. So when I smoke it, it makes me relax, and then I get horny. So it's totally different. But you got to understand, too, there's different strains of marijuana that make you feel different ways. There's sativas and all this different things. But, people, you want to know all that kind of strains, listen to 420 and Sex, the very first show we ever did, and we go through that whole chemical chart, explain to you what the different effects are and smells and looks and all that. But I've noticed that when more and more people now are, because marijuana is becoming so legal, more and more people are taking prescription drugs, or they're doing Molly or ecstasy, and you see now old drugs coming back into play, cocaine and heroin, which really I don't think they ever left. I think they just got downplayed, but I think more and more people are now going back to, especially younger kids. I've never tried any of that. I've never tried cocaine. I've never tried heroin. I've never popped pills. No, that's a lie, because I did do ecstasy once. Oh my God. Oh my God. Just like how you woke up, I met this girl through friends of mine who were swingers. And I can't ever say their name because he works for Department of Defense, and him and his wife got a house here, and he travels back and forth to Washington, D.C. Well, they introduced me to this female friend. She was Native American mixed with Hawaiian. Gorgeous. And we all got together one night, and I ended up kept seeing her on the side because me and her just hit it off. And one night she came over to my apartment, and she was like, hey, you want to try this with me? And I was like, I don't know. But she was like, well, I'm going to do it, and I really would love for you to do it with me, and we'll be okay. We just have to make sure we drink a lot of water, So she broke it in half, and that was the only reason I did. She broke it in half, and I took some of it. Oh, my God. I can't even lie. We fucked like racehorses for hours. That's all we did. I mean, we fucked for hours. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 hours. We fucked from that night, almost 9 o'clock that night, till 6 in the morning. And we just kept drinking water. We kept bottles of water by the bed. And the funny thing was, I had never experienced anything like that in my life. So if that's like what it's like to take a Viagra for people, oh my God, I feel sorry for you guys who take it and then you stay that way for 6 to 7 hours. But I've never done it again. But doing that ecstasy, all I could think about was the sensation of her skin and satisfying her, and she was all about satisfying me, and it was a totally different type of feeling versus marijuana. It really was. Really, really was. Oh my God. I can never do it again. Don't ever want to do it again. But yeah, I can always say I've done it, and that's it. Um, Man, and like what I know guys who drink and they was like, man, I drink this and my dick hard. I'm totally opposite. I drink alcohol, and you ain't getting shit out of me. I'm serious. I'm just the way I am. I drink alcohol, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or it is a physical thing, but I know when I drink alcohol, you ain't got to worry about me getting a hard on, because it just, I don't know. And it's the same with a woman. If a woman is truly, truly drunk, for me, and I mean just sloppy drunk, knocked down, falling all over the place, drunk, slobbering, she can't talk, she's laying there, but she wants you to have sex, I'm not finna have sex with her. I'm just not. Because I feel like I'm just having sex with a limp rag.
Yeah, that's right. And to be honest, you know what? There is no sensation in having a drunk sex. It's like there is no presence. And like saying that, I have done that many times myself, and I feel that like now, for example, that it's pointless for me when like I drink, when I'm drunk, if I get drunk. I don't really get drunk anymore.
Okay.
But like when I was getting drunk, and have sex with somebody, I'm not fully there. I'm not fully present. It's just like this act of having two bodies together, like pumping each other. That's all there is. There is no connection. There is no nothing, nothing. It's like, and for me, it's like even then, it's like I feel less. I'm less sensitive. And I don't experience as much, When I'm sober, I can feel everything. I can connect with the person, or on energetical level, and just share the experience, fully being present and enjoy and take in everything that is happening.
It's truly nice to have a woman's point of view,
yes,
because
sir?
you never know. I've never understood how a woman felt at that time if they're totally drunk or intoxicated. So it's truly nice to have you explain how you as a woman feel when you're completely intoxicated.
Well, I can tell you one thing, that it took me quite a lot to realize that my way of life, like clubbing, taking lots of drugs and drinking lots of alcohol, it actually was my way of escaping the reality, that I didn't even know that I was doing that. I knew that something was missing, but I didn't know what was it. And it took like a massive catalyst, like my dad passing away, for me to start reconsidering and questioning all my life and my life choices. And this is from where I have realized that actually I have got so many unresolved traumas in myself, like early childhood traumas, sexual abuse, like abusive relationships, and all those things were chipping away from my soul. But because I never dealt with that, I actually didn't know that it's chipping away from me. So this is what's happening, that because I didn't know what is happening, I had to soothe myself somehow, because I don't know what is not right, but something is not right. And when I have a drink or when I do drugs, I'm in a happier place. Like, I don't think about like what is missing. I just think it's like how great everything is and how like great everything feels. Although it's like illusion of reality.
So it's like a mask, putting a mask on and nothing else exists.
Yeah, something along those lines, because it's kind of puts you like in a great place, like happy place, but it's only temporarily.
True,
you
true,
know.
true.
And in that moment, you've been surrounded with the people who are high and drunk also, but who are also going through their own like journey, of like whatever escaping, whatever they escaping,
Okay.
or like dealing with whatever they dealing. So in this kind of environment, you find a lots of fake people. So it's like when you have got this like attraction to each other, when you like drunk or high or something like that, you kind of reach your higher consciousness, because drugs like kind of open up your mind to the point that it's like you reach to the higher consciousness. So when you like get together with somebody and you think, oh my goodness, this person is so amazing, we have got such a beautiful connection, but then in next morning you wake up and you sobered up and it's like, and this person is like nothing like they were last night. And you just like think to yourself, is like, where the hell is this beautiful guy gone? He was like so gentle and so open, and like, and in fact, like he's an asshole when he's sober.
Wow.
It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like,
Oh no,
do
no,
you,
I agree with you because I've encountered that with women, and in the morning, especially a drunk woman, and the funny thing is, like me and Sweets were talking in a previous show, it's amazing to me how some people get drunk and they become violent and angry, so it's amazing to me the things that are let loose, whether it's by alcohol or by drugs. Hey guys, if you're just tuning in, this is Nightlife 24/7. I'm your boy Mac, and I'm talking with my girl today, Liberty, and we're still continuing our topic on drugs, drinking, and sex. Now, Liberty, I have a question to ask you, because I noticed when I was overseas, and I was in Germany, then I went to Italy, and then I got to go to Spain and Austria, the biggest thing was drinking. But I know that there are underground clubs where there's more about the drugs than there is drinking. I know there is. I've never got to see them because, as being in the military, they would piss test us randomly, especially when we would go to a different country and come back. Now, if you went to Holland, they pissed you before you went to Holland, and they pissed you when you came back from Holland. Okay? That was automatic. You were getting pissed. You were getting a piss test right off the bat because they're going to make sure that you didn't go over there and use drugs. But I noticed that when I was there in the different districts, the red light districts, and you could see the different things, drinking and sex, or drugs and sex, it's normal, or it seemed normal. It's okay because it was so out in the open. Whereas here in the United States, we're more open-minded, but we hide this type of environment. We're not as open as Europeans are about it. We don't have public nude swimming pools like they do in Germany and England. We don't. It just amazes me. We swear we're the more progressive and open-minded country, but we won't like. Now, am I correct when I say you can watch European TV and you can see the weather person either being nude or topless? You ain't gonna see that in the U.S.
You mean you don't see that on TV, that the person is nude or topless?
Right. No. That's not happening. That's no. Now, answer me this. When you were a dancer and you were working in the clubs, was drugs and drinking something that was mostly given to you by your coworkers or by your patrons?
It was something that I either was sourcing myself, or somebody would give it to me, or I give it to somebody. It's just like all over the place. I guess like you're gonna find what you're looking for.
Right.
So it's like sometimes you don't have to look for anything. And you just and
that
it's
ain't
just
no
there.
lie. You ain't never lied about that.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like sometimes you just like have to just think about it and it appears.
Yeah, that God knows that is true. You know, the funny thing is, I used to date a bartender when I lived in El Paso, Texas. And for a person who didn't drink, she used to always have me trying different drinks, you know. And, but the sex between us was so great. And I'm starting to wonder now, looking back on that, was the sex so great because of the alcohol? You know, because we really didn't communicate that much. I would go hang out with her at the bar, and she would give me one or two drinks because that's all I could handle. And, and then you know, hang out, and then we would you know, we would end up having sex almost every night. And it was just, oh my God, it was just, yeah, it was great. I can't even lie, it was just great.
But
But
do
it
you
makes me
see this?
wonder if it had a lot to do with the alcohol.
Do you see what it is about the alcohol? Like, for example, that, like you're mentioning that some people turn like very violent, you know, when they drink, how many people like turn like very emotional when they drink. It's like drink is a liquid that magnifies what you have got inside of you. Okay, so it's like, let's say you have a couple of drinks and it just takes off this kind of shame and shyness from you. It's just like loosens you up.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you this like kind of confidence boost. All right. So that, but when you just like um, drunk maybe a bit too much, like one too many or something like that. So whatever you're going through in your soul, like whatever fight you're fighting in your heart, it gonna always project. So it's like whatever, if you are unhappy in yourself and you are actually reverent in your heart, it's gonna come out. You're just gonna like fight somebody, you're gonna actually look for it. It's just gonna manifest in your behavior.
Well, they say here in
You
the States, there's a saying, uh,
Mhm.
when a person drinks and they say the things that they say, that's how they truly feel. There's an old saying saying
Yeah,
that they've been holding that in, but the alcohol let their true self out.
absolutely. So it's like a truth liquid.
Oof. Man, you should never meet my ex-girlfriend. I had a girlfriend I met in New Orleans, and
Mhm.
she was so quiet and shy. She looked like a young version of Holly Berry, kept her hair cut short like that and everything. Oh my God. When she drank, she would get up on the bars and dance, and she had the mouth of a sailor. But when she wasn't drinking, you talking about someone that was quiet and reserved, and you know,
Mhm.
but she still spoke her mind. She was one of those people who would speak her mind and voice her opinion,
Mhm.
but she would not like that. I mean, when she got alcohol in her, she was like
Mhm.
a raging bull, and you could not control her. I mean, she
I
was
get that.
you. Are you that way when you drink Liberty? Are you that way? We can't control you.
Well, I'm that way when I don't drink. So can you imagine when I'm drinking?
Wow. Oh.
So can you imagine when I do drink? It's just like magnifies.
Wow, wow. Okay, y'all hear it here. You hear it here. She telling point blank, you better come with a lot of energy. She's gonna be hard. She's gonna be tough to handle. She's gonna be
Oh my
tough to
goodness!
handle.
And I have, and I have been on top of the bars and like all kinds of places. Like trust me.
Okay, now I gotta ask this. I have to ask. For a
Go on.
woman, what is it about most women that when they tend to drink or do drugs, they want to take their clothes off? What is that
Um,
inhibition? It's like a hidden inhibition. They want to be an exhibitionist or voyeur.
it's. Do you know what? I think this is a natural. Do you know what? This is an excellent question. Just excellent question. Because what I think that through our society, there's so much shame around our bodies and how we look and how we should look and how we shouldn't look. And that is like, don't expose yourself and do this and do that. And it's like, and like, so basically, when like, so we as a women are growing with all these beliefs that you are not supposed to show yourself, or it's like you're a slut if you are, and things like that.
Right.
So I think, so all of us, it's like inside we were born naked, right? It's like, and when a woman feels sexy, she wants to show this to like the entire world, right? Especially like if she's wearing like some sexy underwear. So, and that's the thing. So when you're sober, you have got those filters. It's like, oh, I mustn't do this, I mustn't do this, because like whatever like judgments are coming in. So when you have got like a drink, all those filters are just like non-existent. So it's like you feel sexy. If you have got this feeling inside, you're just gonna do it. You're just gonna act on it.
You know
That's
what?
the way it is.
And we men, I'm gonna say this right here. For all us men out there, this is for us. We want to thank you. That's us. We're applauding you, women who love to take this place. That is from all us men out there that are applauding you who have those inhibitions of just letting it go. Please continue to do that for us. Okay, we are not mad at you.
Amazing.
If you're just tuning in, this is
Amazing.
Nightlife 24/7. I'm your boy Mac, and today I'm talking with my girl Liberty, and we are talking about drugs, drinking, and sex. You know what's funny is that sex is something that I consider a natural act. I don't think or feel that you have to jump through hoops to get to that point. If you feel an animal attraction to someone and they feel that animal attraction to you, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make you a hoe, a slut, a pimp, a dog, whatever people call these days. Sexuality is the most common thing there is in the world. How the hell did you think you got here? Now, whether you want to use drugs and drinking to make you feel more comfortable about it, that's your perspective. Me, I don't need it. If I see someone I like and I feel that way about them, I'm going to let them know. Whether or not we act on it, that's a whole nother story. And maybe she may say, you know what, I feel that way about you, but I'm a little shy, or, and I need this to relax. Let me have a glass of wine, or, I want to smoke a blunt. That's fine, baby. Do you. If you ain't hurting nobody and you ain't breaking the law, go for yours. But I will say this, and I'm going to say this to everyone and anyone. Anything you do, do it in moderation. Be smart about what it is you're putting into your body. Be smart about how you're putting it into your body. Be conscious of the side effects. Be conscious of the altered state that it puts you in. You don't want to take something that's going to make you completely black out and you're still talking and moving with no conscious knowing of where you're taking yourself or what type of situation you're putting yourself into. Now, some of you may like this. Some of you may work to achieve this type of high, and that's your business. But at some point, you're going to wake up one day in a situation and realize, what the hell did I do? How did I get here? And why are there all these people here butt naked with me? Or why I'm on the side of the road, or you might not wake up at all. So, that being said, we only want you to enjoy yourself and have fun. But drugs, as Liberty has said, and drinking, as Liberty has said, can be your escape from other things that you're not trying to deal with, whether it's a childhood issue, whether it's a father issue, whether it's a family issue, whether it's a mental or physical abuse issue, whether you've been, hurt by a man or a woman, whether you've been bullied, all these things can lead you to use drugs and drinking and sex. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie. There was a young lady I dated, and she told me to her face, and this is when I knew that there was something wrong. She says, when you have sex with me, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like you care about me. But the funny thing was, that stemmed from her being sexually abused by her family members, her uncles and cousins. And after we talked more, that's how I realized it. She was using sex as a form of feeling loved and cared for, and that was the wrong way. That was the wrong
Yeah.
way to interpret it. Am I
Yeah,
right? Am I
yeah,
right here, Liberty?
absolutely, absolutely. And this is something like something other actually I'd like to bring to the attention, because um, there is like sex addiction, it's like drug addiction, alcohol addiction. Like sex, you also can use it as a tool. It's like for me, for example, I used it as a tool to, like, for example, I would not feel comfortable of like intimate connection with somebody to open in my heart, and sharing myself in that way. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but when I used to meet someone that I liked, I would prefer not to talk to them much, but it's like just straight down get to business, and it's like have an amazing sexual experience, because this was giving me the opportunity to experience that intimacy levels that actually was not possible experience through any other way, but only sexually, that made me feel so loved and nourished and cherished and cuddled and connected, with another person. So as soon as the sex was over, it was like all this uh, goodness and all the magic was over.
It was a
But
temporary,
yet,
and excuse me for using this pun. It was basically a temporary high.
it's like, yeah, it was a fix, it
Right.
was a fix of intimacy, that my soul was craving so much, that I wanted this deep connection with somebody, like a soul level connection with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
that I could achieve only through having sex with another person, because I was not comfortable enough to open up my heart to that person and speak my wounds,
Mm-hmm.
because of like whatever fears was attached to that, like fear of being judged, or like not being good enough, or like not not being like up to the standard, or it's like fear of being left, or like whatever it was. Although every time after this kind of level of intimacy, because I experienced such a soul level connection, I would start freaking out about like being in contact with that person. So I would
Wow.
bring such a big wall up that it's like, hey, listen, you have to leave now, that I was not comfortable even sitting with the guy, in the same room. Is like, so most of the time when I used to have sex with somebody, I would never see them again because I was scared to get hurt so
That,
much.
wow. That is, you know, you guys need to really listen to what she's saying, because you put up walls, and these walls are temporarily opened, or these gates are opened by using
Mm,
alcohol or drugs, but the problem still exists. The fear still exists,
absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
And if this is you, and I'm telling you from me and Liberty, if this is you, we're telling you seek help, because
Mm,
isn't the alcohol and the drugs are going to put you in a sexual situation that's only going to keep giving you temporary fixes, and at some
mm,
point these temporary fixes aren't going to be enough, and they're going to escalate into something else.
mm,
You know,
mm,
they can manifest themselves in so many different ways, whether it's increasing more drug use or alcohol use, or you start to
mm.
do things to harm yourself, or you start to
Yeah,
pull away from other people. Um,
yeah.
so I know you guys listen to our show, and we talk about our experience, and we talk about the things that we feel and know and things that we're experiencing. But we also try to make sure that you get a better understanding of what's going on with you, your partner, within your relationship, and you should seek help. We're not those people to give you that kind of help. We're just trying to make sure you understand there's help out there for you. You know,
Well,
go ahead.
you know that this is my specialty
That's her
because
specialty. I'm sorry.
I have, I have been on this journey myself, and like right now, I came out on the other side. You know, it's like totally faced my demons, and like done a lot of work on myself, and actually um, began the healing journey, and it still continues. You know, and I'm like very like in a like midway to
Mm-hmm.
to like a better life, you know, that I'm creating for myself. So this what inspired me to work with other people who are in a similar situations. So if you guys find yourself in these situations, or if like any of like mentioned right now situations speak to you or resonating with you, or it's like triggers you, um, please do contact me.
Give me your contact information, Liberty.
Oh, absolutely. So, my contact information is bettersex15 at gmail.com. Bettersex15 at gmail.com. And if you got triggered by anything that we just mentioned here about sex, drugs, and alcohol, or like abuse, or like anything like that, if you have got questions that you want to ask, or if you want some consultation, if you just like want to share something, make sure you contact me. My heart is open to you guys, and this is actually what I dedicated my life to, because I have been on the journey of self-destruction, and I turned it around, and actually became healer of my own heart, and I'm helping to heal many other people, you know, from all kinds of past experiences and all kinds of demons that are inhibiting one's soul, that sometimes you don't even know that something is happening. You just know that something is not right, and you can't put your finger on it,
Right.
that you don't really know what you know, just something is not right. You know, it's like many people, they live their life, and it's like everyone around is like go to school, they meet their boyfriend, girlfriend, then they marry, they buy a house, they get kids, they got a car and everything, and somehow you try to do the same, but it doesn't work for you, and you don't really know what is it. You're like with a very good partner, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, I've got this beautiful life, I've got beautiful partner, I've got beautiful house, but something is missing.
You're not happy.
What?
You're not happy.
Yeah,
You're
what
just
is
not.
it? What is it? What is it?
Yeah.
And you can't understand. And this is where you're like, this is usually to fill this space. People are usually like doing drugs, or like drink a lot, you know,
Mhm.
just to fill that gap, that emptiness inside.
Yeah.
So I'm here to tell you that I'm not judging you for like drinking or doing drugs. I done it myself, and trust me, I had like some really amazing and awesome times doing that. I really had some awesome sex doing that, and I also had a really pretty terrifying experiences also. But I mean, if you're doing that to feel your,
Alrighty,
yeah.
guys. So as Liberty said, um, she's giving you information. If you need her help, be there. Remember, you put on this world to help other people, and if you can't help them,
Mm.
don't harm them. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Podbean, Podcast Keeper, Tumblr, Facebook, all these different platforms. That being our show, guys, we're definitely heading out. We're gonna say goodbye now. Bye, Liberty.
Bye, lots of love, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Have a good one, guys. We at Nightlife 24/7 appreciate you, our listener, who has an open mind and heart and are able to listen, learn, and discuss those issues that affect you and your partner. By discussing these issues, we hope to keep the lines of communication open to help inform you, our listener, and our community. It's on your mind, so let's talk about it on Nightlife 24/7.